Okay, folks. Happy whatever day this is. Wednesday. On the other screen, it said it was somebody was online. Oh, there it is. Maybe it's just this one's just delayed a little bit. Happy Wednesday. Okay, so yesterday we were working on our first official digger. Crikey! Here he is. I don't know if did they say crikey in the 1940s? Probably not. They probably don't say awesome either, so I don't belong in the 1940s. I really don't belong in a world without air conditioning. Sorry. Spoiled. Michael, welcome. Have not been on here for a long time. Yeah, I think you were waiting to see if I was doing some polls. No, I'm not doing polls yet. It's Thursday already here, is it? Yeah, I guess you're right. Barely Thursday. Yeah, I don't think you've been on here since I was doing... Yeah, you've been on here since I was doing World War II stuff. The one true war and the one true scale. Nah, I don't care if people do other things. You know? It's just amazing how much stuff is out there for this. Absolutely amazing. So I just switched books. I had to use a credit before it expired, and I had gotten a recommendation of this book called on Audible, of course, we're talking about, and this looks to be really, really good. Several people have sung the praises of this book, and I'll give you my official yay or nay probably tomorrow. Send me notifications. No, don't allow. An Army at Dawn. It's apparently a part of a trilogy, and I think it's all American soldiers, but it's like a three-part. This one is the War in North Africa, 42 and 43, and it looks like it's really low, really low. What's the word I'm thinking of? Very granular. You're painting DBA right now. What are you painting in DBA? I remember DBA. All right, the digger. All right, we said the next thing we're going to do is the Enfield rifle. So let's get, I think we're using this Parasite brown color as the base. And of course we need black and white out here. East Frankish, maize from your Polish manufacturer, QR Miniatures. Are those the same manufacturers that used to make the Osmi? Or is that a different one? Are you able to go to a store there in Poland and get them? Or you still have to mail order them? Infantry this time. Oh yeah, we're doing infantry. We're mixing it up. I get tired of this, I'll do another vehicle. You know. Speaking of Poles, I need to finish that Panzerkampfwagen 38T Command from First to Fight. But the instructions on First to Fight are terrible. Well, they're all on like the back of the box, which is fine, except that like all these little arrows. And I consider myself a pretty experienced model builder, and I'm still like scratching my head like, Where does that go? Like, let me go look at references. You know, luckily we have the internet. Um, but I've got a few things left to put on that one, and then it'll be up and running. Mail order. Okay. Oddsy'all Osme sold their 50mm range, I think, to Fighting 15s that close next year. Yeah, I actually like those figures. I had around 2007, a buddy of mine were going to play a triple DBA army. That's the triple big battle DBA set. That's before I realized I really did not like that format. And it wasn't because you had a co-player. It was because there was just like a game within a game. And that just involved more planning than I really wanted to do, because, you know, things go sideways, and, you know, I put value in my time, so I don't like my time being wasted. And I felt like that did that. Not that I didn't like having a teammate. I actually liked that part a lot. But we're going to do double later polls with Hungarian allies. So we each bought the Oddsjal figures that just came out, and he bought a set, and I bought a set, and he was in Korea at the time on a tour, and he ended up throwing his in the garbage can because the alloy is so hard on him. I mean, it was like literally like trying to, and he had a fair amount of flash. It was like almost as hard as the X-Acto knife blade trying to cut him out. It was a chore. I didn't throw mine away. I ended up selling mine on eBay. But it's a shame because I really like the figures. They're just, the alloy is just, I think they just, you guys melted those old T-54s and T-55s. What manufacturer these dudes? These guys are Strelets, which I believe are Russian. But I've got Strelets and Airfix guys. So, you know, you can make these figures look really good if you just put some time into them. Let me show you a picture of this guy's, these two Airfix guys are completed. Well, he's not sealed and his base isn't done, but it'll get the point across. Let me show you, see if I can take a decent picture of these guys. That's always a challenge. Clean your lens. Well, screw you, buddy. Tell me before I take the picture. Still not happy? Looks clean to me. They actually turn out really well. If they're just durable. I'm just hoping one day I don't realize, hey, I wasted 100 hours painting these guys and the paint's flaking off. But looks-wise, I'm very happy with it. Very, very happy with him. There he is, Jeffrey. I got Pico armor. They got odds to be on range now. Yep. Yeah, I like the Pico armor stuff. If I had to do a 1 to 5 scale game, that's what I'd do. I'd model all 5 tanks or whatever, or the whole platoon, put them all in the stand, and just play with the stands. You know, Strelets is from Ukraine, is it? Ukraine, Russia. What's the difference? Hey, if it wasn't for the Ukrainians, the Russians would just be a bunch of poop stacking peasants, right? Because the Ukrainians were there first. Ozzy Osbourne is making 15mm from the same stuff they made the 3mm miniatures. That thing can only be cleaned with a file. I had only one set from them under the Linear A brand. Yeah. And Ukraine was part of Russia forever. Sorry, lump them in the same category. Not being political, just telling you how it is. And I'm not a fan of renaming things. So for me, it'll always be Kiev. That doesn't mean I'm pro-Russian. It just was always... Look, when it was just Ukrainians, it was Kiev. They don't call them the Kiev Rus. They call them the Kievan Rus, or however it's called. I don't know. I ain't changed it. It's still Madras to me, too. Meet me in Burma, not Myanmar. So I found out something really interesting by reading one of these Pacific things, because I'm kind of Pacific World War II is not my thing. I'm excited about learning more about it, which can only improve. I'm wondering if that's the correct color. Let me hold on one. Hold your horses. No, it is that one. Okay. I didn't realize that Taiwan is the name that the Chinese like to call them. Persia's still Persia. That's right. Taiwan is the name the Chinese like to call it, and I mean both flavors of Chinese. And the Japanese referred to that island as Formosa. I did not know that. I think most known 1/72 soft plastic miniature makers are from Ukraine. Redbox, Orion, Strelitz, MicroArt. I'm not familiar with MicroArt. I'm not familiar with MicroArt, but Orion is great. Orion stuff is really good. Orion were the first figures that I'm like, maybe these plastic figures aren't that bad. They have great detail. I got some Russian tankers that have some great faces, as good as white metal faces. Just really, really good. Redbox. What do I have anything about Redbox? There's a company is Redbox same as LW? There's a Russian set of dismounted of tankers, and it's made by LW, and it's also the same, and that set looks incredible. But they also want an arm and two legs for it, here in the States anyways. Let me go to Plastic Soldier Review, see if it's the one I'm thinking of. Plastic Soldier Review. There's a couple of those companies that are like, oh, this is the same as that one, and this is the same as the other one, and LW is the same as it's something else. And it'll say on here, periods. It should just default to World War II. That's the only area that I'm... Tank Crew, Soviet Union Tank Crew. LW... Other. LW Russian Tank Crew. Evolution. No, Evolution is the other one. This set is the same as Evolution. Not sure where these guys are from. And I'll tell you why they're so cool. So you got your standard, all kinds of Russian tankers, all World War II tankers, right? Look at this last row. These guys are like a hoot. All four of these guys. It'd be a toss-up to see which one of them I like the best. I like the guy carrying all those bottles. Is that vodka or Molotov cocktails? Vodka first, then Molotov cocktail. Freaking great. And it'll look really rustic, too. Like chiseled looking. So they'll paint well, Chat disconnected. What the hell is going on here? Mars. Oh, yeah, the Mars ones look good, too. They have some Soviet assault troops that look really cool from Mars. Yeah, I like all that stuff, Zvezda stuff's all over the place. I have some figures that Pack 36 and the German infantry gun set are really nice figures. Really, really nice. The Soviet ones I have on a couple of their guns don't look so good. I mean, they'll still end up being okay. I mean, if I can make Airfix figures work, I can make all that stuff work too. But, well, you need to get the bottles first. That's right. But yeah, if I'm going to do poles, the only poles I would ever paint are 1939 poles. I'm not doing I'm not doing Poles that are basically wearing British kit because they're basically the same. It's the opportunity of making them, their own thing. And I'm certainly not doing, Russian liberation Poles. Yeah, like you're doing us a favor. Like, oh, we're gonna liberate Poland. Yeah, sure you are, dickhead. I don't do those. That's not cool. So I would do the 39 Poles. And hell, they fought longer than the Polish campaign lasted longer than the French campaign. You get some sleep. 1:20 a.m. here. All right, man. Yeah, get some shut eye. Hopefully, you don't have to wake up in 2 hours or so. All right, an Enfield rifle. Okay, Jeffrey, you weren't on here last night. If I have 2 days to spend in the UK, London specifically, because I got a layover in January, where must I go? I think the Imperial War Museum is really where I need to go. I'd love to go out to to almost said World of Tanks, to Bovington, but it's just too damn far away. It just doesn't make sense. I think the Imperial War Museum looks like a good catch-all. And it's free. Or it's, no additional charge. Maybe they charge foreigners. I don't know. Imperial War Museum? Yeah. I go in there and tell them what's wrong. This is wrong. You got that wrong. Science Museum? I'm not a science guy. You don't trust the science? I don't trust anything. Imperial War Museum, yeah. I was looking at their store to see, kind of give me an idea what I was. It's like, nothing but Churchill whiskey and Spitfire stuff. I'm like, sounds good. They had a bunch of Churchill stuff in there. I thought he was like an evil figure, Maybe not in the Imperial War Museum. Hanitz for picking up first to fight models in 1/72. Okay. All right. So I asked somebody else. I asked Neil yesterday. He said there's no place to get stuff. Where is there stuff to get? What are places in London? Here we go. This is a recon here. And what are places in London that I could go get Plastic Soldier Company stuff? Not that that's a priority, but if I'm nearby. That'll help me get through customs easier too. They entertain those TSA people or whatever you guys call them in Hanitz. I'm gonna see where that is right now. Anything that involves me looking at a map, man. I'm all there. I love maps. Nobody likes maps more than me. Hanitz. That sounds familiar. Hanitz closed. Ooh. I have Humbrol paints there. Royal Air Force Museum. Is that next door or something? I look at this. What is this? Is the British version of the A-Team? Hanitz. All right, let's see where Hanitz is on the map. Oh, it is next to the Royal Air Force Museum, London. What's in there? I don't care about the modern shit. Harrier, Camel. A Kitty Hawk. Hey, we want that pack. I guess they didn't know what unit this belonged to, so they put a big old question mark on it. I don't know what bomber that is. That's a little too close. There's a Catalina P-51 with Donald Duck on it. Oh, it's got a rail line nearby. Nah, I might entertain that kind of stuff, but we'll have to see if we find ourselves in the area. And I'd tell you where we're going to go on this trip, but I just hate saying that we're going to do A, B, and C, and then we end up not doing that, and then it's another layer of disappointment. So, but that's late January supposedly, unless there's some kind of COVID outbreak or something like that. And let's hope not. We've had enough of that. Got a little bit too wet there. You got this tank all wrong. That's the wrong color. That's not Middlestone. All right, let's brighten this up a little bit. The whole infield's almost completely covered with wood. Keeps you from burning yourself. I went to a hobby store. Um, Last year was Canada. The year before that, we went to New York. We went to New York and we did Connecticut. And there was a legitimate hobby store in Connecticut. Like the place had like a lot of kits, a lot. They even had like, I don't know, 15 1/72nd scale vehicles, maybe 12, something like that. But they had like a lot of 1/35th scale stuff and paints and everything. But I walked in there and the guys that worked there smoked inside their building, which is basically unheard of here in the United States. It's basically unheard of in the United States, and it was like bad. Like I need to get out of there before I was going to get back in the car and then ruin the air quality inside the car. And it was just cigarettes. It wasn't the funny weed stuff that everybody's doing these days. So everybody except me. Um, but that was a legitimate hobby store. Like, you know, but I couldn't stay in there long enough to make a purchase. And I did look at the 1/72nd scale stuff. They didn't have anything that I couldn't live without. You know, it's just the typical fare. Germans, Germans, more Germans, and the sight of Germans with Germans also. It's like, man, you know, the Germans got to fight somebody else. I mean, they got cool stuff, but, I you can't get upset with them, for not having unique stuff like Romanian or Hungarian vehicles of the Second World War, or even Italian vehicles of the Second World War. I mean, you got to have some Allied stuff, man. Soviets, Americans, British, something. You can't just walk around with Germans with more Germans. Okay. So that is the the wooden rifle portions of this guy. We're going to go do his fleshy bits, and this guy's already been named. He is Munt. I went on. I needed to get some Australian names, so I went to the Australian War Memorial, whatever site that they have online, and went through a list of different things that they had and picked out some names that there was definitely Australians named that at one point. There was definitely some ex-cons mailed to that rock, sent out to that rock with that last name. What the what the f happened there? Got too close to the edge. Bugger. This guy's looking a little bit like. Oh man, John Wayne. Got a little bit of a John Wayne looking face. Australian John Wayne. Got these culottes. He's wearing really long shorts. Or maybe they're pulled up really high, something like that. If you were going to Edinburgh, Wonderland Miles would be your port of call. Not this trip. This trip is really just going to Spain. We just happen to be having a layover in London. That's all. It's like, well, we might as well spend a day there. You know, at least say we went there. Have to do it. It's just so damn difficult to take time off. It's so damn difficult. As it is, I want to be gone from like the 13th or 14th of January all the way into like the beginning of February. I think the place is gonna fucking burn down. I don't know. There's no big model or gaming shops in the center of London. Probably too expensive. Probably too damn expensive. You know, we've got paints. We got places in my town, that I now live in a small town on the outskirts of. It's still 20 minutes. It's still the same town, basically. We got a good selection of paints. I mean, we got everything. You know, you can get everything Vallejo. Yeah, you can't get AK, but that's okay. There's a place in Tampa that has AK. You know, I'd rather be able to get Vallejo. I use Vallejo. Vallejo is for hand painting. You know, other than Coat d'Arms. There's no shop that stock Coat d'Arms in London. Warhammer, yeah, screw Warhammer. I hope they keep making the paints like this because they're actually okay. You know. Actually, I bought some of these. Realized I hadn't even used them. This Steel Legion Drab. I haven't even used this. Did it go bad already? I just forget about it. Yeah, This would have been good color for the rifle right there. I just forget about them. These are okay. They're my go-to for metals, for sure. Oh, this is Agrax Earthshade. Bah! That's right, because it started acting weird. Bastard. What else do I got up here? I got Mornfang Brown. Yeah, this is the color I should have been using for the rifle. Ah, whatever. I like to mix my own. Sorry about that. You know. I still did, well, a lot of these places don't have fronts. There was a place in Clearwater, Florida, so just north of St. Petersburg, the Tampa area. And I think they closed down in the late 90s, maybe mid 90s. It was called Modeler's Mart, and they had everything. And, but at that time I was only doing World War II, so having a bunch of 15 millimeter everything for minifigs didn't do any good. Minifigs, UK. Where's that dude that minifigs UK? Where's that dude that has minifig stuff from time to time? Minifigs UK miniatures that I've bought from him before. Yeah, they probably don't have a storefront. About. Caliver Books. Where the hell is Cal? That's not the one I was thinking of. Where the hell is Caliver Books at? About Us. Real shop open Monday to Friday. Well, where the bloody hell are you? Oh, I don't want to zoom in. I want to zoom out. I see IKEA Nottingham. That's nowhere near London. No, who's the other guy? Who's the guy that runs that shop? Some nice old man. I know that doesn't really narrow it down. No, he's Nottingham. That's nowhere close. God, I've ordered from him before. It's like a man woman running the place. Anyways, he ends up having like minifig stuff before, and he ships really quick. You know, actually, everybody that I've dealt with in the UK has shipped quick, except the Tiny War Games UK Matt guy, and when minifigs got taken over by somebody else, it was a shit show. Everybody else I've dealt with in the UK has been phenomenal. No, not Navor. No, not now. Navor won't that. No, that guy. That's the fax. Oh, fax me your information. No. No. Like I can take PayPal. I could take PayPal since like 2002 or something like that. Keep Wargaming. That's right. That guy's great. Where's Keep Wargaming at? Keep Wargaming. UK. I thought everything was in London. Joke's on me. Ooh, Paul had a stroke. Ooh, yeah, I've gotten great service from that guy. Home, contact us, site map. They may not have a storefront. That's one way to keep your costs down. Not having a storefront. Dave Ryan and his wife Ann are great. They come to the Scottish shows. Is that the Dave from Museum Miniatures? That guy's a Dave. Yeah, I don't have a use for museum miniatures anymore. Oh, I don't do 15s. I'm sorry. You know, I actually like museum miniatures a lot. Finally, you're glad to see somebody come to Scotland, not for raiding, not to raid Scotland. I'm a bit scared to go to Scotland without any MREs. I'll just drink whiskey the whole time without the E. Nottingham is now the lead belt, where all war games and game companies are now based. Hmm. Well, you know, figure two birds with one stone kind of thing. I don't need anything, but it'd just be kind of cool to, you know. I should learn how to use my camera. I could video blog interesting stuff along the way. I'm supposed to be going to some pretty cool places, but we're not super trying to nail everything down. You know, just like we're going to go to this town and we're going to go to this town. And I have ideas of what to see at them, but if we don't see the stuff that's there because of weather or whatever, you know, we'll just see something else. You know, not particularly interested in going to Stonehenge. It's out in the middle of nowhere, and what kind of a druid do you think I am, anyways? Keep Wargame used to be based at Les Marchands Barracks in the 1980s. Les Marchands Barracks. Is that where the Normans used to have all their troops? Les Marchands. Also known as the Island French. The Norman Barracks at Les Marchands. I got a notification that what's his name? Is it Dan Brown? Can't remember what his name is. He's got such a generic sounding name, you know. He's got a new book that came out on Henry V. I don't know, he didn't excite me. Read about him. I never got a chance to read the book about from who's the other guy I'd rather hear? Longshanks. I'd rather read about Longshanks. Yeah, I know. He raided Scotland. Yeah, whatever. We're out of the one thing. I'll be right back. You know, and I'm not opposed to, at some point, maybe in a decade, go back to doing medieval and ancients, but I'm not going back to DBA, and I'm certainly not going back to something that I have to play the way that it's, that the rules are written, even if they're written, incorrectly. It's like, I'm not putting up with that shit. I don't have an agenda like I got to make my guys better or anything like that. I'm like, it's got to be balanced and like, based in like some reality and stuff like that, so never going to be doing that. Don't need to play any other tournaments. I was never a tournament player to begin with. It was just a way to play with my own stuff, I know. If I want to play with my own stuff, why even leave the house? Yeah, whatever. If the model meeting that I go to every month now, that I've started going back to, they make a big deal out of a tournament, a competition, but everybody votes on. Like, I don't need more awards. All those awards that I have, I don't know how many DBA things I got. 50, probably. If I had to just throw a number out there, 50. I don't have any of them up. None. They're all stored in a box. That's just a different. It was a cool memento. Like, this happened back then, and I played this army. Okay, cool. I don't have any of them up. So. And I'm certainly not interested in entering a painting contest where, somebody wants to give me an attitude like, oh, you entered too many figures. It's a DBA army. Well, you should have entered less figures. Well, it's not a DBA army, This was a medieval Germans or whatever the hell it was I entered. Oh, 30 figures is too many. Well, that's what the army is. Sorry, pal. And you got worrying about anybody touching my figures and shit like that. I'm like, I don't need your gift certificate that badly to create stress in my life. Well, Nottingham reminds me of. Isn't that where a lot of Games Workshop stuff is? I bet if I looked at some of those heavy metal painting guides, they come from Nottingham. That's considered what, the Midlands? You're lucky I know as much British geography as I do. I've never been there. I don't have a responsibility to know. Ah, Francois. How you doing, man? Yeah, this guy has a John Wayne looking face a little bit. But yeah, I went to the museum site for the Imperial War Museum, and they had all kinds of Churchill stuff there. I thought people didn't like Churchill all of a sudden. Look, he may have been a dickhead, but it's a good thing he was around because I'm pretty sure everybody else would have just said, nah, they're throwing in the towel. So, Warhammer World and their factories there. The gaming equivalent of Silicon Valley. Oh, so you got earthquakes. The equivalent of Silicon Valley, so nobody can afford to live there. This guy's got a really some cool personality. And that's what we want. We want these figures to. That's why I like putting names on them. I don't like just putting a number. Because you can't put a number. You can't put a face on a number. Tornadoes. You tornadoes in the middle of England? Wow. Earthquakes and droves of homeless zombies shitting on the streets. Yep. Yep. When I went to, we did one trip that we went up to Virginia. My wife's best friend's up there in Virginia, and was on a trip up there, and we made it to Fayetteville, North Carolina, and which is a pretty big city. Ended up spending the night there. Like, let's go find somewhere to eat. So we go away from the interstate into Fayetteville, and it was like zombie apocalypse. Like, we'll go back and eat whatever. It looked really, really, really unsafe. Not putting my family through that. Fayetteville, North Carolina. I think that was the trip that I went to the Pentagon. Now that I think about it. I can't remember if they confiscated your phones going to the Pentagon. I don't think they did. But, I was like, don't take any pictures. Like, no shit. Like, I know who my dad is. Like, anybody with a brain would know you don't take pictures of the freaking Pentagon. Midlands is prone to tornadoes when the weather conditions are right. Huh. I just don't associate tornadoes with jolly old England. So I guess we'll just settle to go to the Imperial War Museum and go heckle the Buckingham Palace guards. No, we're not going to do that. Not cool. You know, it would have been a good opportunity to go and check out HMS Warspite, but you guys didn't save her. You guys didn't make the Warspite a museum ship. Shame on you. I know, you didn't have enough money to do it. I get it. I had to drive through a tornado earlier this year for the first time. That shit was wild, yeah. I don't think I could do that. I've had lots of dreams about them, nightmares. Lot. It's frequent. I mean, I don't remember last time I had one, but it's at least come up 6 times. Is Churchill still viewed as like a divisive figure in England? I tried to sit through that movie with him, and I couldn't do it. I was distracted about how much he didn't look like Churchill. Tower of London has Royal Armories and is close to HMS Belfast. Yeah, they want to charge like $44 to go into Belfast. I'll get my picture with it. I mean, if I get to go, you know, that's always a caveat. If I get to go, I have the rug pulled out from under me too many times. I'm always like a skeptic. Yeah, I think that the top thing on my list is going to be the Imperial War Museum, especially because it's like super World War II centric. And I'm not one of those America won the war all by themselves kind of people. So, you know. Can you imagine how difficult it would have been if, like, the UK folded? And, like, okay, well, it's time to land in Normandy. Oh, well, we can't use the UK as a staging area? What do you do then? Not been to the armories in London, but have been to the armories in Leeds twice. Yeah, that's pretty far, unfortunately. This guy's not sunburnt yet. Digger's Day Out. Really decent face. It paints up pretty well. All right. You know what I haven't found in plastic? But boys in a tank rifle. Who makes a boys in a tank rifle in plastic? You know what? There's hardly anything in there. We're just going to pour this on top of it. Our goal is going to be to finish Mr. Munt here. What museum ships do they have in the UK? I mean, you guys have Victory. Boring. Sorry, I don't like sailing ships, especially when the time period where they all look the same. You guys have Warrior. The Warrior exists, right? You got Belfast, and what else? Is that it? Should have kept Dreadnought. How do you not keep Dreadnought? I know, they needed the steel to make, I don't know, irons or something. Lamppost. Churchill is still viewed favorably, but his negative traits have been discussed more. He was in the right place at the right time. Absolutely. Absolutely. The soft underbelly man. HMS Caroline. Oh, really? C-class cruiser, World War I, right? Those were brand new during Jutland. Where's she at? Titanic experience. They got that in Orlando. I don't know if there's a ship out there that interests me less than the Titanic. There probably is something out there. Yeah, Belfast Camel's badass. That's a good looking ship. You start making a list of ships you wish they kept. It can get really long. Hey, Marcus. But they should have kept Warspite. Cruiser, the first cruiser I think they should have kept is Old Shiny. Old Chef. Which I always get mixed up with Belfast. Probably because I have an F in them. It's kind of unusual to have a name with an F in it. Old Shiny. So yeah, that scenario that Battle of City Boo Boo, I went and actually found it. It's somebody decided to put it on their site, and that article's there. And yes, I just noticed it today. S Model does make a Willys Jeep with a US 37 millimeter on it. I thought it was Hasegawa. I thought Hasegawa was the only one that made it, but what do I know? I can't tell if some of this stuff is some of that stuff's out of production or what's going on with it, because some models are impossible to find. From S Model. They make a Crusader. They make two different versions of the Crusader. One of them with the 2-pounder, and one of them with the close support howitzer. And the one with the close support howitzer you can't find. You can't find it now, so I don't really know what the shtick is between it. At the Vintage War Game site. I put the link after your comment that you put on there. And some guy has his own site. I can't show you the thing because it's impossible to find on my phone. Phones are great for lots of stuff, but bookmarking things, I'm just too... I guess I'm just too ignorant to be able to do it. But yeah, they had... I decided to search to see if it was, on MagWeb, because MagWeb is no more. I downloaded quite a few interesting articles. That was my favorite one. Just got a call. I'll be right back. Hey, it's after 8 o'clock, man. You shouldn't have to be putting out any fires. I know, easier said than done. I think Sidi Bouzid inspired it. I don't know anything about Tunisia. Now, with that said, I just downloaded a new book from Audible because I had to use the credit today. I was going to lose it. And that book is called An Army at Dawn. It's actually part of a trilogy. And I'm in, where am I at? I'm in the prologue. And I had heard from several people that this is excellent. Unfortunately, I think it's only U.S., which, yeah, I'm not a fan of those things where it's like, it's only these guys. Like, we're just going to ignore everything else. Like, because I think everything's interesting, you know? But I don't know anything about the Battle of Sidi Bouzid. But I remember seeing a similar scenario in Tunisia in old War Games Illustrated. I wonder if I kept all the War Games Illustrated that I have. I had a bunch of hand-me-down War Games Illustrated things. I want to say I did. I don't think I would have gotten rid of them. I don't know. All right, let's go ahead and do his socks. That's British uniform. Oh, I'm sorry, it's English uniform. Mine bad. Hennons, huh? Okay. So maybe I should just mail order something when I leave. That way it'll be here when I get back. But and I won't be tempted to have to go hunt a hobby store down. Yeah. You got interested in playing the old ZX Spectrum game Vulcan, which covered the Tunisian campaign from the paralandings at, is it Bonnet, to the final taking of Tunis at the end of Operation Vulcan. I've never heard Vulcan before. I'm pretty ignorant about Tunisia, so. You know, when I'm ignorant about a subject matter of World War II, I do one or two things. Learn more about it, or just say, you know what, I'm not really interested in that. I just don't learn. I can't be into everything. Bye, you know. Yeah, but this book looks like it's got a lot of little vignette things. It's looking like that's the case, so who knows? Maybe there's some Americans in Tunisia in my future. You know what? I'm just gonna plan on. I'll just use my regular infantry. If I do Tunisia with Americans, I just use my regular Normandy infantry. Doesn't bother me that bad, you know. Yeah, the basing will be wrong, but whatever. I cannot use the honeys because honeys are only British. I do like the yellow markings. Something different, you know? You know what I don't like? Uh-oh. Get ready to get offended. Not you guys, but Americans are. I don't like when they put the American flag painted on the side of the American tanks in Tunisia. Just doesn't look right, you know? Doesn't look right. Doesn't look as bad as putting a star on a British vehicle in Northwest Europe, but I do want to try my luck at doing this. Desert pink and dark olive. That's just wacky. I know it's a Valentine. At least it gave them to the Russians. Now, honeys are British only, baby. Of course, I noticed that the Plastic Soldier Company honey's got all kinds of wrong things done with them. And I'm not one of those Rivet County Nazi people that's like, you can't use this for that, or you can't use that. But, like the honey, for instance, shows the freaking machine gun pods. The machine gun pods they consider the sponsons? I don't know. It shows them, and the honey didn't have them. The honeys, they block those things out like... How many blokes do you think we've got in this machine? Ain't nobody got time for that. I mean, it's already got a 30 cal AA, it's got a coax, and it's got a whole machine gun. Now, one thing that's kind of thrown me off is I remember from playing Advanced Squad Leader. Okay? When you're playing Advanced Squad Leader, I played a fair amount of it, not by DBA standards, but I played, 50, 60, 70 games of Advanced Squad Leader. I don't think it's a very difficult game. It's just got a lot of things going on it. It reminds me of Face of Battle a little bit. And then there's a lot of stuff on there. But anyhow, I remember one of the things you could do is you could fire your main armament and the coax as long as you were shooting at the same target, you could fire both of them. And from what I can tell, every vehicle that I've come across that has said is you could not do both. You're either firing the main gun or you're firing the coax machine gun. You're not doing either one of them. So you're not doing both of them at the same time. Because it'd be handy, like if you had like a 75 millimeter arm Sherman, right, with a coax 30, and you're firing it like trucks, fire HE and fire the 30 cal, rip them both ways. You could do it in ASL. Maybe they just figure the turns longer or something like that. I don't know. I always thought that was strange. But I'm gonna wait a little bit before we get anything else. I'm getting a little overwhelmed. I don't want more stuff. I'm good. Let's knock some of this stuff out. That doesn't mean I can't hop around with the things I already have, but unless somebody comes out with a 3D printed Cruiser Mark 4A, which the closest I've got to them is that I think it's called Triple S SSS model from China, but it's really delicate. But it doesn't have a beza. It's got everything except the beza. All right, and then we've got like this ochre color we were using for the. I wonder if I'm going to be able to get that question answered I had about the markings on the British units. Markings on the 4th Armored Brigade and 7th Armored Brigade compared to the 7th Armored Division. I would have asked online if I didn't get a bunch of smart ass replies. Then you have to discern whether or not the person's telling the truth or not. I'm going to use little boy's room. I'll be right back. Yeah, but the honey in that scenario is actually British honey. It is an actual British honey. Yeah, I don't know enough about the. I don't know enough about the British units in Tunisia to get on with that just yet. Get on with it. Um, Although the Sixth Armored was out there, you know, the fist, that mailed fist. I like that symbol. They went to Italy as well. Well, thought I was in the clear tonight, but people on the West Coast are calling for work. We'll catch you all in the next one. Another reason to dislike people from the West Coast. West Coast slackers. We don't have much left in this guy. We'll probably paint another Aussies. We'll get 4 or 5 guys with the bush hats, and then we'll go and switch to the other ones. What is this, like a couple squads? I got 2 guys painted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Did I count them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 3 depleted squads. A depleted platoon. How many brain guns do I have? 1, 2. There's no Nazi brain gun? Get another brain gun, and then we should be in the clear. Yeah, I could probably make a platoon. I don't know if any of the scenarios have a platoon worth of Brits in the desert ones. Now, I got more brain guns. Just have to use a repeat figure. It's not a big deal. I don't mind. I just don't want 4 of the same guy. You know, a couple. That's not a problem. Couples welcome. 50 points if you know what business puts that on their sign. Couples welcome. I wouldn't know. I just drive by the sign. Why is this so watery? That's right. The steward is a honey. I don't know what version of the stewards they would have been using in Tunisia. I would imagine it's the same ones, because the British got after the honeys. They jumped into the M3A3s. I'm pretty sure, but those probably didn't come out until really late '43. I would imagine. I don't know. We'll have to listen to some history. Maybe those guys will come up. There we go. This guy's face is really good. My fine using this color for the strap. Well, it's different than anything else that's on the figure in that area of the face. So yeah, I'm gonna roll with it. All right, we got that mid color for the canteen. I forgot to tell Marcus. I don't know how that's going to work. Not this weekend, but the following weekend for doing a game. I don't know that I'll be able to because I got to work on Saturday, which means there won't be a Saturday morning session. That Saturday, not this Saturday coming, but the following one. And I'm probably going to be burned out that evening. And then Sunday the girls come back, so I don't know how that'll play out. I'll do a session if I feel like it and if I have the energy to do so. We will see how that goes. Sounds like there's plenty of stuff in the brown violet. And what is the top color that we're gonna do? Is dark sand. Let's lighten up. Let's lighten up this helmet. I don't know that we're gonna do completely. Even this, we're gonna do the same thing with the Africa coral. The Africa coral will have all kinds of different faded cloths and things like that, and I think the Italians as well. just need to put a little highlight here on the boots. It's pretty much ready to go. Let's mess with this ochre that we have down here. And just a tiny little bit of white. And of course, we're going to seal this guy in the morning after you let this paint grab a little bit more. I'm real happy with that guy right there. Pretty happy with that. All right, folks, thanks for stopping by. We will catch you guys on the next one.